I'm Matt, the etrailer. Today we're going to talk about the Thule Roof Rack on our 2022 Nissan Armada. Now this is going to be a great option if you're looking for something that's going to be really easy to work with and is going to look good on top of your roof. So let's check it out. Now something I do recommend doing with these is just putting in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to make sure you get in the right one, because you can get this in a couple of different variations. Now the one we have today is going to be the raised rail option. Why that's important is because the Armada comes with that raised rail, and the way you can tell if you have that or not is if you put your hand underneath here and as you grab onto this, you know you got it. Now what I think really stands out about this one today, or really any type of roof rack, is the ability to load up your roof, because we have a lot of space and real estate here. And I like using this instead of the back of our vehicle, because let's say you got a trailer that you're pulling behind you, or even a cargo carrier, that's really extending the footprint of your vehicle. So if you're trying to get into those tight spots like a parking lot, that's going to be a lot tighter to do, especially with this already large vehicle. So with the vehicle already being large, we might as well use the real estate on top of the roof. So today we're going to be focusing on how this roof rack interacts with our vehicle, and this is going to come in two pieces. So up top we're going to have the crossbar. You can put gear on here one of two ways. You can either have clamp-on accessories that grabs onto the rail. This is going to be a fairly standard one, so most of them should work with this. And then here at the very end, if I flip this tab over, this will gain access to this T-channel, which you can mount accessories like this too, if you don't want to go with the clamp-on style. And I like this because this is really easy to work with. Other ones out there, typically you have to take this off completely. This is just taking a few steps out of the equation. Now underneath it, we're going to have the actual towers. And with these towers, they're going to have this hole here. You can put the plastic lock cord that comes with your kit in here, or you can put a metal lock cord. That's one I would suggest investing in. You can actually find those on our website. And why I recommend that is because this is a fairly nice roof rack. You don't want that going anywhere. And you can also get this key-alike with your other Thule accessories. Underneath there, you can see what's here. It's just going to be a bolt that tightens this down into place. And this does a fairly good job, because when we look at how it's grabbing onto this railing here, we don't have any glaring gaps. And that's nice because one, it looks better, and two, it won't cause any wind noise. Now let's get a couple measurements to see how this is sitting on here. So the first one I'm going to get is going to be how high it sits up. So going from our rails here to the top of the crossbar, that's going to be a little bit under 3 inches, which is a pretty good height. I still suggest getting the total height of your entire system. So what that's going to be is your railings, your crossbars, and any gear that's sitting on top of them. Get that measurement so you know if you can make it under a low clearance spot like a garage. Now the next one we want to measure is going to be the clearance underneath our rails, and that's going to be about 2.5 inches. That's plenty of clearance for any type of more bulky clamps to get on here. Now if your vehicle has a sunroof on the very front of it, then definitely take that into account, because that might go up and make contact with something over here. But like I was saying earlier, the Armada has a ton of real estate. Right now, we're just using the front section of here. This is going to have a crossbar spread of roughly 28 inches. So that's going to be compatible with most gear out there. If we needed a wider one, we could simply just move this back to the second section over here. Or if I needed to pull the whole kit back some, I have the room to do so. Now how much can you put on it? That's really going to come down to the weight capacity. It's going to have a pretty sturdy weight capacity, but also check what your vehicle's roof is rated for. You can find that in your owner's manual, and then go from the lowest rated component so you don't damage anything. Now in my opinion, I think this is a solid choice for what I was talking about earlier. One, it looks good on top of our roof, and it's just easy to work with, especially when you're going out on a trip. You don't want to have to fuss with something for another extra 20 minutes before you actually get out on the road. Now another option that's also pretty easy to work with is going to be the Rhino Rack roof rack. And that one's going to be a little bit more low profile than this one, but for me, I personally just like the look of this one a little bit more, but it just comes down to aesthetics at that point. Now when it comes to actually getting this on here, it's a pretty simple process. It only takes maybe about 10 minutes if you know how to do it. But if you do go with this, let us know how it's working for you in a review, if it really is that easy to use or not. But with that said, let's jump into the install. So where we're going to start off is just laying everything out. So I'm going to have the 2 towers, their end caps, the tool that comes with it, and the measuring tape. Then we're actually going to have the crossbar itself. Now I only have one set here. I already got the other one on the roof, but it's going to be the same process. So where to start is just by flipping this over. So the underside is showing up. We're going to come to one end. We're going to remove this end cap by pressing on that tab, pulling on it, grabbing the tower. You're going to have these tabs at the very top of it, and push it in this orientation where we have the head of this bolt facing out. Once you have it like that, put your end cap back on and repeat that on the other side. And now we can put it on top of our roof. Something I'll do though, just double check the gaps in between your clamps so they'll actually fit around your rails. And if they don't, you can just loosen it up with your tool. And now we can get it up there. When you're putting it up there, you want to make sure that thick side is facing forward, thin side behind us. I'm just going to place it on our roof by lining it up with your rails. If you can't really see what you're doing, just do it slowly and get one side on there, and then go to the other side and adjust it. And once you get both crossbars up here, what I like to do is make sure we have a good crossbar spread. And what I'll do is make sure they're even too. What I'm doing is just bring this to the edge of this bar that holds up your rails on either side. That's going to work for me, but again, just double check that this spread is going to be compatible with your gear. And then the second measurement I like to make sure of is our overhang. So make sure this is about the same on either side. Mine is. So I'm just going to come back over here with our tool and then tighten this down. And we'll just do this a little bit at a time, going back and forth until we have this fully on. Now you're eventually going to get to the point where you're going to have a lot of resistance to this. And you're going to hear that click a couple times. Once you hear that, you know it's going to be fully tightened down. Just make sure you're doing that to the other side. And from here, I like to give it a good shake test. Make sure it's not going to go anywhere. And if it feels good, we can load it up and take it for a ride. Now, if you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.